Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha, the ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O Goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, our reading from the 18th Adhyaya of Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, and having described the three types of jnana, the sattvic, rajasic and tamasic types of jnana, Sri Krishna is telling us about the karma now. Sri Krishna has told us about the sattvic karma which is done without any attachment to the karma, to the work that we are doing, without loving or hating the work that we are doing. Like if I like to do that work, I'm in love with the work. If I don't like the work, I hate the work. No, nothing of that sort. Whichever work has come to my lap, whichever work has come to my share, I have to do it as the work ordained for me to do. The Lord has ordained me to do that work. There is no the work that I like, there is no work that I dislike. Whatever work is there which has come to me, I am going to do it in a wholehearted manner. And then Sri Krishna said, that's sattvic work. There is no desire for any fruits. There is no expectation of what I am going to get out of it. That is the sattvic karma. Rajasic karma which is done with full show off, all pomp. It is doing the work which is taken up with the highest level of egoism, highly inflated ego. I am doing the work. I am doing this work. I am doing it. Let people know that I am doing it. How many efforts I am putting into it. Bahula ayasam. And all those efforts, they are meaningless basically. The efforts put in are only to show off, for people to see, oh, what great efforts this person is putting doing this work. For people to see, people to make it realize, and people to advertise. Oh, this person has put in so many efforts in doing that work. And that work is done with the intent of enjoying the desires. Kṣhayaṁ. The entire objective is to fulfill those gratification of those desires, fulfillment of those desires. And what are those desires? The desires of lust and greed. So that is the rajasic type of karma that Sri Krishna has taught us in the 24th shloka. Yattu kāmepsuna karma sahankarena va punha kriyate bahulayasam tad rajasam udarhutam. The work which is done with the intention of enjoying the desires, enjoying the sense pleasures, kāmepsuna. The intent is the longing for those desires. That is the intention, that is the motive, that is the impetus for doing that work. Kāmepsuna, the longing for enjoying those sensual pleasures and the lust and greed. And it is done with the highest level of egoism, sahankarena, the most inflated ego, and with full intent on the fruit of what I am going to get. I have to enjoy those pleasures. That is the intent. And while doing so, the person will put meaningless, unnecessary efforts just to show off what a great amount of work he is doing. And for both that sattvic karma and rajasic karma, we also read Sri Ramakrishna's teaching that how the sattvic work is done without any show off. The sattvic nature makes no show of the spiritual practices or any other activities that person is doing. Calmly, coolly, that person will do the work. People won't even realize somebody is doing that work. In all the humbleness, with all the humility, that person will undertake doing that sattvic karma. And nobody would take notice. This person, when everybody is sleeping, he will just wake up. He will wake up in the mosquito net itself, start doing this japa, start meditating. People will think this fellow is asleep. But no, he is very much on the path of the liberation, very much on the path of self-elimination, very much on the path of self-emancipation. So that is the sattvic. And for rajasic type of work that Sri Ramakrishna had given, the example was the highly egoistic people, how that wicked ego will express itself in performing the works. Don't you know who I am? In that kind of attitude. See, don't you see how much effort I am putting in it? That person will not do the work silently, will glorify all the unnecessary, meaningless efforts that the person is putting in getting that work done. And is anybody there superior to me? That is the attitude. That is the attitude of person who is doing the rajasic karma. Now what about the tamasic karma? Let us see what Sri Krishna teaches us. What is the tamasic type of karma, and which we should be absolutely cautious about. We should never fall in that trap of performing the tamasic karma. Anubandhaṁ kṣhayaṁ hinsām anapekṣhya ca pauruṣham mohād ārabhyate karma yatta tāmasam uchyate. Mohād ārabhyate karma, that karma which is initiated under delusion. Now both sattvic and rajasic karma, for that matter, there is no delusion. For sattvic karma, there is full clarity of what I am going to do, what I have to do, what is the work God has ordained for me to do. There is total clarity on that. There is no confusion. For rajasic, also there is no confusion for that matter, although in a negative sense. The person wants to do something with only intent is enjoying the sensual pleasures. The desire to fulfill those sensual desires. That is the only clarity in the mind of the person who is performing the rajasic karma. But the tamasic, that is the work itself is initiated under the delusion. There is no clarity what is to be done. There is no thought even while before doing the work. There is no planning involved. So mohād ārabhyate karma, and what is the result of that karma? Mohād ārabhyate karma anubandhaṁ anapekṣhya. Anapekṣhya is the without paying any heed to, without paying any regard to the anubandha, the consequences. The work is initiated totally under delusion. There is no clarity, no regard as to what is going to be the consequence of the work that I am undertaking. What is going to be the outcome? Is it going to be good or bad? No thought over it. Anapekṣhya anubandhaṁ, and that anubandhaṁ could be kṣhayaṁ. That anubandhaṁ, the consequence could be loss. Hinsām could be injury to somebody, injury to someone. Kṣhayaṁ, hinsām, and also the pauruṣham, although the ability of somebody. Even my own ability. I don't pay any heed. I have to just start the work. That's it. I have to do the work. I will do it. Come what may. What are the consequences? I am not bothered. Is it going to result in a loss for someone? I don't care. Is it going to lead to my loss? I don't care. Is it going to injure someone? I don't care. Is it going to injure myself? I don't care. Is it going to hamper someone's abilities, the pauruṣham? I don't care. Is it going to hamper my own abilities? I don't care. That is the attitude with which that work is undertaken. Yat tāmasam uchyate. That work is called as the tamasic work. Absolutely mindlessly doing that work. So that is what Sri Krishna says. Compare it to the sattvic work. Compare it to the rajasic work. Rajasic work at least will done some good or bad, that much for sure. It will do some good for the doer, although very in a temporary manner, fine. But in tamasic work, no heed is paid. There no consequences are thought of. What are going to be the consequences of this work that I am going to do? Is it going to incur loss? Is it going to create, injure someone? Or is it going to hamper the abilities of someone or mine? That someone's ability, someone's injury, someone's loss, or my abilities, my injuries, or my loss, no, nothing is thought of. There is no the regard for all the outcomes of this kind of work. Forget, I mean, the tamasic work will not produce good at all. That is for sure. That's what Sri Krishna has said. All it can bring is, it can bring loss, it can bring injury, and it can hamper the abilities. But the doer of that work is not paying any regard to those consequences. That is the tamasic action. That action which is undertaken from delusion, without heed to the consequence, loss, injury, and ability, that is declared to be the tamasic work. How different it is. How unfortunate it is if someone is undertaking such kind of tamasic work. But then, it is all the play of niyati, it is all the play of prakriti. Even these kind of works have to be done in this play of the Lord, in this play of the Mahamaya. Even the tamasic works, they have their own position. They have their own slots identified. If tamasic work is not there, we may not realize the worth of the sattvic karma. Even to some extent, the work of rajasic karma, it may be for self-indulgence, for the self-gratification. But still, the aim is not to harm anybody. Aim is just to self-gratification. That is the only aim of rajasic work. Sattvic work, of course, is for the good of all, good of one and all, for the benefit of one and all. It is like something like atmano mokshartham jagat hitaya cha. That is the sattvic karma. But rajasic karma doesn't believe in atmano mokshartha jagat hitaya. Rajasic karma only believes my desires, sensual desires, my lust and greed should be fulfilled. There is no mokshartham, there is no hitayam of anybody. If by chance it happens, it doesn't matter. But my fulfillment of desire should not be hampered. But what here happens in the rajasic, there is no heed paid to the consequence. It will bring nothing but the loss, nothing but the injury, nothing but hampering the abilities. But the doer of that tamasic work, under the spell of that delusion, under the spell of that Mahamaya, will never ever think of anybody's loss or loss of the self, will never pay any heed for anyone's injury or injuring the self, or pay heed to anyone's abilities getting hampered or My own ability is getting hampered. No heed is paid. No, there is no thought of that. That is how the tamasic work is done under illusion, under the delusion. The man immersed in tamas is not able to discern whether his undertaking is good or bad, much less the consequence of it. This person is so deluded. This person is so much under the spell of Mahamaya, under the spell of delusion. He cannot discern. There is no discernment. There is no viveka. There is no intellect working for that person. And forget about the good or bad. The person also doesn't think of what is going to be the consequence of that work. So, loss of energy, loss of property, money, loss of time, these reverses do not occur to him as bad. For that person who is performing the tamasic work, any kind of loss, whether it is monetary loss, whether it is a physical loss, whether it is the loss of some kind of injury getting inflicted by some injury, that thought is not there at all in the mind. His endeavors are harmful both to him and to others. That is the problem with this kind of tamasic work. It is not within his ken that his resources fall too short of the project into which he launches. He is so unfortunate for that matter. He is helpless. He doesn't want to see what lies ahead. Like a fool. Totally deluded, that person will only be doing karma which will be bad for others, bad for self, which won't bring good for others, which won't bring hita for others, like Jagat Hitaya, and which also won't bring hita for himself or herself. So that is what the tamasic work is. The doings of such a man are born of tamas. So the tamasic work is no good for anybody. And let us read Sri Ramakrishna's teaching on this. It is only after practice of intense tapas that men are freed from guile and stinginess. Guilelessness, that quality, the guilelessness like a child, and freeing oneself from stinginess. These are the qualities one acquires after intense austerity, Sri Ramakrishna says. That kind of intense austerity wipes out the tamas and brings in these qualities of sattva, which is the guilelessness and freedom from stinginess. God vision comes to them who are free from crookedness and cunning. Crookedness and cunning are the attributes of the tamasic pravritti. And when the work is done under the tamas, under the influence of the tamas, naturally that work is going to be crooked, that work is going to be cunning, that work is not going to bring good to anybody, to the doer or to the others. But in the name of simplicity, man should not become a simpleton. Just to show off that I am a simple person. The man should not become simpleton. It is good to be a devotee, but it is extremely bad to be a dullard. Sri Ramakrishna says. His very pet teaching, that be a bhakta. Don't be a boka. Don't be a fool. Don't be a dullard. Don't get under the grasp of tamas. Getting dullard means getting under the influence of tamas. Be a bhakta. Be a bhakta. Come under the influence of sattva. Never come under the influence of tamas. Know what is right and do what is good. But contrarily, what happens with the influence of tamas? Nothing is done right and nothing is done for good. So that is what Sri Krishna has also taught us in this 25th shloka, that the tamasic karma is not good for anybody. The person does it under the spell of delusion as it is. without paying any heed, without paying any regard, if that work is going to bring loss, if that work is going to bring injury, or if that work is going to bring the hamper one's abilities. That is the tamasic work, and the spiritual aspirant should be absolutely careful of such kind of tamasic influence coming on to us while performing the karma, lest that work, that karma becomes the tamasic work, as explained by Sri Krishna in this 25th shloka. Let us be aware of it, and let us prepare ourselves not to fall in the trap of the delusion and make our works the tamasic work as described by the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Ram Krishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.